The Biden administration will finally allow Cuba's independent entrepreneurs to open bank accounts in the United States remotely from the island, among other measures to support the private sector on the island that were halted for months due to objections from Congress. Senior administration officials told reporters on Tuesday that the Treasury Department crafted new regulations to modify the decades-old embargo on Cuba. The new regulations will allow private business owners in Cuba to open U.S. bank accounts and conduct authorized transactions, including through online payment platforms, removing a significant hurdle for the private enterprises. The embargo imposed on Cuba in the 1960s cut the island off from the U.S. banking system. Currently, Cubans visiting the U.S. can open a bank account here, but they cannot access their money once they return to the island. The embargo restrictions were initially aimed at the Cuban government, but they are now limiting private entrepreneurs, who must come up with creative and expensive ways to pay for imports from abroad. A senior administration official said that it is essential for the Biden administration to make sure the private sector continues to expand on the island to encourage Cubans to become self-sufficient and more independent from the government. The official also said the policy would help to stem migration from the island and counter actions by other nations, hinting at Russia, which Cuban authorities tapped to help them manage the private sector on the island. Providing support for Cuba's private sector will help to stem irregular migration from the island by creating more economic opportunity, the official said. We believe that engaging in support of Cuba's independent private sector will ensure that these important continental actors are supported by the United States and make it more difficult for other state actors who wish to engage economically in Cuba only in support of the government and without supporting the private and entrepreneurial sector. Other new measures announced Tuesday include authorizing U.S. companies to provide internet services such as social media platforms, video conferencing, e-learning, automated translation, IT managing services, and cloud-based services to private business owners. The changes would make it possible, for example, for Cuban software developers to have their apps available for download on the Apple or Google App Stores. The Treasury Department will also reverse a Trump-era measure prohibiting U.S. banks from processing transactions involving Cuba and banks in third countries, known in the banking industry as U-turn transactions. That will particularly benefit companies like Western Union, which sends remittances in dollars to Cuba.